Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Hot on the Open here at MarketStream.live. It is August 8th, 2017, and my name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, Securities Offer My Money Block. And this is where we check out everything that's going on in the markets. Now, we had a very mixed overnight action in Asia. We continue to have mixed action in Europe, and we're also having mixed action here in the United States. Most notable economic data that came out overseas, Chinese missed on imports, exports, and also the Germans also disappointed on imports and exports. Now, the currency markets are actually favoring these exporters. Even though there was poor numbers, the numbers still were good. Don't get me wrong. They were just lower than expectations. And boy, I tell you, when you look at expectations after the second quarter, they're going to be hard to beat. There have been some impressive numbers in the first half of 2017. And so while they're lower than expected, you got to take a tempered look. Now, the markets right now are trading in a very tight range. What's notable is, and the MarketStream.live team pushed some commentary out on this, and I wanted to bring it up in the discussion on what's hot here in the open, is the fact that the Dow Jones has done something that it hasn't done since July 24th, which is it opened up, the Dow Jones Industrial opened up lower on the opening than the previous day for the first time in over 2.5, almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So you can clearly see the last time that we saw that there was an open where we saw the previous open here on the 24th was at 21,577. The previous day open was at 21,591. Well, we had an open yesterday of 22,100. And today was at 22,095. So it was 5 points lower. And that's the first time that we've seen that since July. That was also the last time that there was any type of challenge of the short-term bulls in the Dow Industrials. So this is maybe a turning point. This could be a turning point or a catalyst to the upside where buyers might see an opportunity, or could we start to see that maybe a little bit of uncertainty is coming in the market? How you measure uncertainty? Take a look at the VIX. And the bottom line is the VIX is trading at $9.90. It's below its 20 and 50-day moving average. And with the strength in the dollar, it keeps coming off. There is no volatility at this juncture, so we're not seeing that fear index increase. Dow Jones is up 580 right now, $5.80, so it's very, very tight. Taking a look, though, at the S&P 500, again, trading in a tight range. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks where it's just basically sitting between this 2470 and 2480 level. Very tight range in the markets right now, not seeing any movement. Now, we're going to have some notable earnings coming out, Priceline being one of those. We'll talk about that this afternoon. Speaking of techs, taking a look at the NASDAQ down to, again, you're seeing it in a very tight range, basically between 59.60 and 58.80. So this is a pretty decent range, though, especially with this big day right there, back where we saw a range of between 59.95 and 58.47. So it can move that much, but we haven't seen any movement lately, and the volatility index is not telling us or expecting any big movements. The Russell 2000 continues to overachieve over the last three sessions. Moving to the upside, you have it above its 50-day moving average today, right now, after a big push, after basically opening below there and challenging for the last few sessions, now above. So it's in a battle zone. We're going to watch the Russell 2000 very closely. Watch it going into the end of this week, the Thursday and Friday economic reports on the PPIs. As well as the CPIs, the Producer Price Index and the Consumer Price Index. After those import-export misses on expectations in Europe, specifically Germany and in China, let's see if that impacts those CPI and PPI numbers. That would be a material component that could put some more volatility in the small caps, but they are moving to the upside this morning after opening up lower. Taking a look in the commodity markets, with the dollar strength, you see this green line here, it's moving to the upside. Hasn't been putting much in the way of pressure on crude. As a matter of fact, you're seeing crude moving to the upside. Now watch the API data that will come out after the close this afternoon at 4:30 Eastern. You're also going to want to watch the EIA report tomorrow morning at 10:30. We talk about that a lot, but we saw a smaller than expected draw last week, a little over 1.5 million barrels. We've seen over the last month that the average with draw has been about 6.6 million barrels. So let's see if that draw continues. If it doesn't, let's see if the oil markets start to come under pressure. But we're in that battle zone between the 20 and 50-day moving average. This is where any bulls in the crude markets, they got to get above this 20-day moving average, which comes in basically at 93, on the crude markets. I want to pull this up. I'm sorry, the crude markets are actually above. I apologize. I was looking at the equity markets. Crude markets broke above. They've been holding above its 20 and 50-day. You're going to want to watch this very closely because with this dollar strength, crude markets could start to weaken. You see that it's been consolidating here on the West Texas. I want to watch that very closely. This could be something that could pretty much put some pressure on a challenge of 48. If the dollar strength continues and we have any misses on the end of the week economic data, and then watch 47.40. That's going to be the 50-day moving average. Any challenge to this area could mean that the crude markets could pull back into that $46, $45 level. I think that the $45, $44 level is that sweet spot. But again, a lot of resistance up at around this $49 to $50 level. One market that has been moving in a consolidated range is gold. So it's fitting the mold there in the markets. But what has been trying to break out above the 290 level and sustain that has been copper. Watch this non-ferrous metal. This is a great barometer of economic growth, of materials growth, infrastructure growth. Where you'll also see a great barometer of risk and wanting to take risk is going to be in the bond markets. Both in the 10-year and the 30-year, you're going to want to see some more precipitous drops in price. Right now, they're holding up above their 20 and 50-day moving averages, which means right now that bond bulls, people that are buying bonds, are still in control at this juncture, despite the fact that we continue to see major market indices hitting all-time highs. For example, the Dow Jones Industrial. So we'll watch that very closely. All right, folks, that is it right now for what's hot on the open, taking a look at the U.S. markets. I'm going to be back online later this afternoon. I'm going to be talking about some earnings names that are going to be coming up as we're getting into the tail end of earnings. Also, some strategic approaches that you should be utilizing in your portfolio, and you should be asking your portfolio advisor. So we'll talk to you soon. See you then.